Have you thought about moving to Hickory, North Carolina, and been wondering what the pros and cons are? Well, stay tuned because we're definitely going to cover the pros and cons.
5 and 5.
5 and 5.
5 pros, 5 cons.
There you go.
Hickory, North Carolina.
So stay tuned. Here we go.
So we will start with the obvious. A lot of people find their way to Hickory, North Carolina because you've been hearing all about it on the news about what a great place it is to relocate. And a big part of that has to do with your quality of life because of the cost of living. It is so much cheaper to live here than some other parts of the country. I don't know where you're watching this from right now or where you're coming from and thinking of a move here, but there is a really solid chance that it's going to be cheaper just to exist here versus wherever you're coming from compared to where some people came from.
California, Los Angeles.
Which is the other end of the extreme. So
I had to come from somewhere to figure out that the secret's out, and you definitely want to move out to some other parts of the country than you're researching, then you land on Hickory, and then it is really, really affordable.
Yeah, so it has all the things without so much of the financial burden. And I do think quality of life here is great, in part because there's not so much pressure, you know, to have to make so much money just to pay the rent that month. Not that it doesn't cost money to live here too, but it's property taxes, it's groceries, so many different things, utilities, I mean, housing. It's just a more affordable place to live. So that's the obvious #1 pro of living in Hickory.
That's it.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's #1 on the list. That's probably why you Googled and found this video right now. But it's true. We live here. I've born and raised here. So it's normal to me. But when you come here from another state, it's kind of mind-blowing the quality of life you can have for a very reasonable amount of money. You can live in a really nice house without having to break the bank.
Yep.
So, cost of living.
Hey guys, welcome to Living in North Carolina channel. This channel is your ultimate guide to the authentic North Carolina experience. We cover everything from daily life to all the fun stuff in between.
So if you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and give that like button a tap. It helps others find our channel more easily.
Bing, bing.
So while you're at it, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you're always in the loop when we drop new videos.
We're Adriano, and this is Katie, and we're real estate agents right here in North Carolina. We absolutely love it when people contact us about their upcoming move to North Carolina, whether through text messages, a phone call, or a quick email. Reach out to us, and we can help you every step of the way. You can even schedule an appointment on our calendar using the link below.
So no matter how you choose to get in touch, know that we've got your back when it comes to making the move to North Carolina.
All right, so here's the first con. As we were talking about the pro being cost of living, affordability, here's the bad news. Let's go in the con, because I'm going to be the bearer of bad news. The secret's out, and what we noticed living here, and if you are planning on moving, over time the prices have been going up.
Right.
On housing.
Been getting here.
Because the secret's out.
Everybody wants to live here, so the prices are going up.
And we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen a pretty good increase in housing, no matter where in Hickory that you're looking to move.
Right.
So, I mean, 4 years ago, it looks like you can buy a house for $120,000. That same house now today is about $350,000. Depending.
Maybe like 10 years ago. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously increases in property values nationwide, but when you have an area like Hickory that's become such a destination for people like retiring or moving their families here, because it does provide such a quality of life. And the word is out that, hey, you can live here and it's not super expensive like maybe where you're coming from. It obviously creates more demand. And Sweet Hickory has made every effort to accommodate the influx of people, but it's actually making it to where people who already lived here are having a harder time affording to be here.
Yeah.
So that's become one of the cons is...
Yeah, and not enough housing.
It's not going to be so cheap forever.
Yeah, there's not enough infrastructure, and that we're noticing as people are starting to move in, you're starting to get a lot more people that are saying, you know, hey, I remember...
live here.
Yeah, not even that.
Yeah.
Not even affordability, but they were like, hey, you know what? We've been living in Hickory, and now we're seeing there's a lot of people here, and I'm not really liking it. I mean, I want my old Hickory back.
Some people do feel that way, which I think is part of the growth of any, and I'll say small town. Hickory's a city, we know, but that feeling of it was a lot lower population, and now there's all this growth. which is great and exciting. And folks like us, we love that, but it has made the prices go up a little bit. But guys, there's new construction popping up everywhere because we're trying to accommodate all the people coming in to live here. So it's great. We're flattered. Everybody wants to be here. But the con to that is that it's making the prices go up a little faster than
anticipated.
Just normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one of the cons. So if you wait too long, it may not be as cheap as as you've been hearing, because the prices are starting to go up a little bit. So that's one of the cons. All right. So the second pro that I love about Hickory is that there's a strong, tight-knit community feel. It's sort of one of those cities where, depending on where you spend most of your time, there's a good chance that you go into a restaurant, you'll see somebody you know. You go to Target, you'll see somebody you know. And that's a really good thing if you like that. Very tight-knit community, very neighborly. If you are the type of person that you like to pull into your neighborhood in the evening after work and everybody waves at you when you come back, that's good. Some people that are not used to that thought it was a little weird at
this
first.
Guy.
He was like, what is this? What are they waving at?
Yeah.
And then somebody like me, we go out to California and visit with his family, and you know, I'm like smiling or waving at somebody and they're like, what's your problem? What are you doing?
Because she was
I
weird.
look like a weirdo. So there are little cultural differences, but if you're not from an area that does that, just know like you will be welcomed in your typical Southern hospitable way. If you move into a neighborhood, somebody's going to bake you something.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to bring you flowers or a fern, or if you visit somebody's home, you'll be offered sweet tea. And if you're new here, that's the etiquette. So offer sweet tea, extra sweet. And that's, you know, there's little nuances. I know not everybody does that, but if you're born and raised here, that becomes normal to you. And that Southern hospitality that you hear about, it's a thing. And it really pertains to Hickory. It's something special about it. So even if you're like an introvert and you don't love that kind of thing, just consider like how helpful, especially if you're raising children and, you know, you've heard the phrase, it takes a village. It's nice that for the most part, if you live in a neighborhood and your kids are out playing on the sidewalk or they're hanging out with their friends next door, riding bikes, like they still do that here. Right? So small town feel, Southern hospitality, it still exists here. So that's one of the pros, I think, of Hickory. So it had to make our list.
All right, so we're going to go to con number 2. And this one, as we talked about, Hickory's got a great feel community. Here's a flip side to that. Me being from a big city, I'm used to not people in my business. So when I got here, everybody gets in your business. And that can be sometimes smothering, and you know, my experience of that, some people, you can see right through the fakeness, and I am not someone that I see right through that. And so some of it, they kind of got in your business and they want to.
I had to explain to him whenever he first got out here, I said, bless your heart can mean two things. It can mean truly, like, bless you, like God bless you, sincerely. Bless your heart can also mean, oh, you're an idiot. You're so stupid.
I can see some of that.
It's that, but on a broader scale.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that I noticed that coming out here that takes you a minute to adjust, and just kind of be aware of that. If you're not used to that, and not used to just kind of, you can keep to yourself if you want. And there's people that do move here. They don't want to be, and they want to live on 100 acres. They keep to themselves. Yeah. You got it. Yep. So that's how you can kind of avoid that. But if you're, like I said, if you're living in one of the suburbs or communities and you're just being involved in some, you know, in a church or at work, just be aware.
Yeah, sometimes
just be mindful.
Small group and that sense of community can mean that the rumor mill, I guess it's like everybody kind of knows everybody's business sometimes. And if you're from some big city, you're not used to anybody caring.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think it's just Hickory, guys. I just think it might be like a Southern thing. The smaller the town feels,
I think it's a smaller town.
The more people kind of have an opinion about everything, about everybody. So that's the flip side of a tight-knit community, is sometimes people talk too much.
They talk too much and they gossip, and they think they know this one wealthy family, but they really don't. They're just full of it, but they just want to act like they are somebody when they're not. So they just like I said, be aware when you're here. just be mindful who you're talking to, and just kind of make sure you feel them out before you start giving them little tidbits of your life story, because again, you know, it might get repeated. It might get repeated, or they might think that you're something that you're really not. That was my first impression also coming here, is that if you have a mouth on you, or if you like to swear a lot, be mindful here in Hickory.
Can't do that here.
Can't do that. Yeah. People already, they assume and they start judging you.
Yeah.
And that, my friends,
there's local, and to be fair, and he's speaking from experience.
That's experience, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you what it's like.
When he first moved out here, he talked a lot different, and it was not how I was used to hearing anybody talk. And I think I even said something to him. I was like, you can't do that. Like, you might have a good heart, but when you talk like that, people are not going to take it that way. So point being, just be sensitive to this little local nuances of when you move to Hickory. You know, if where you're from, people, they swear a lot. They're like, no big deal. They're just, loud or whatever. It won't be well received here. And one of the things I noticed seeing him acclimate to living here, and there's been so many adjustments, but
I just don't talk to anybody.
Well, he doesn't swear anymore. He does a lot better. But anyway, he got told this a lot. People would say, "Oh, you're not from around here, are you?"
Mm-hmm. And there's a meaning behind that.
It's like there's the slightest bit of suspicion when you're not from here. So it takes you a minute to explain like who you are, where you're from, kind of like what brought you here. And I think people sincerely want to hear your story. I get that. But that's something, having grown up here, I never dealt with that. Like, I never had to deal with that. And seeing his response to it and how people welcomed him and that kind of like cynical, like, what are you doing here? What brought you here? It was different. It was very different. So just know, like, when you first get here, the flip side of that tight community may be that you feel a little bit like you're in a fishbowl. Like, people are wanting to know your story. They want to know what you're about. They want to know what brought you here. They want to know, why don't you talk like us? Why don't you think like us? So there will be an adjustment. Is that a fair statement?
I would say fair.
An adjustment.
I would say it's a fair statement.
Some of it's for the better. Some of it's for the better. So, but its own little.
So just be mindful if you're moving out here and that's something you do not want, Hickory might not be the place for you.
Yeah. So maybe that's a con. So I had to make the list.
Yep.
Pro number 3. If you are somebody that values family-friendly activities, outdoor, active lifestyle, taking your dog out for a walk, hiking, kayaking, parks, recreation, enrichment opportunities for your kids, Hickory has a lot of that. Hickory is known for active, family-friendly lifestyle. The community itself and the things that you can do here are very conducive to that. We have city walks. We have a lot of places to go kayaking and boating, because of course we have Lake Hickory. A lot of parks.
Oh yeah.
A lot of parks. A lot of outdoor things to do. I'm saying year round, because we do have mild winters, but if you want something indoors, there's stuff to do there too. We have the Science Center, and we have aquariums and the art museum, and even right outside of Hickory, if you just want to drive 45 minutes.
The mountains.
Yeah, you can go up into the mountains. It's like a whole different elevation up there because we're in the foothills. So 10 degrees cooler, just going up in the mountains a little bit during the heat of summer.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, so there's lots that you can do as a family, a lot to be active and have a healthy lifestyle, and things that you can have little ones all the way up to teenagers and seniors, all you can do together as a family. So
not to mention every part of the year, every quarter when the season changes, every quarter there's always something to do. There's new scenery, there's something to do. If you want to go up to the mountains when it's snowing, go up to the mountains when it's snowing. In the spring, if you want to hang out and start going to some of the parks as everything grows back up.
Yeah, it's all green
again. In the summer when it's really hot, go on the lake, go on hikes. Go to the river. Or drive 4 to 5 hours to the beach. There's something to do with the family year-round for sure.
I feel like during COVID and during lockdown and all that, socially distancing, of course, there was a lot to do because everything was outdoors and everything was already kind of spread out. It wasn't like we were in some big city where you had to get on a metro to get somewhere. Like, there was a ton that we all just kind of went outside, and there's a ton to do out there. So you can stay very active. You can do it with others. You can be like just kind of doing your own little thing. But there's a lot of places to go as a family, and it's very active, outdoorsy, and lots to do in Hickory and within an hour of Hickory. So that's on the list of one of the pros. Is there's a lot to do outdoors.
All right, so here's our next con. That would be con number 3. If you are out here moving to Hickory and you're looking to do having a nightlife of some sort, let me tell you, it's not there. If you're looking to go like to bar hopping and there's like, you think there's going to be like a strip of bars and like,
it's not really a thing here.
Yeah, or you're going to college and you think there's going to be a club or anything, there's none of that here.
Yeah.
So if you're moving out here expecting that, well, that's not going to be something that you're going to find out here, out in Hickory. If you're looking to go to sporting venues, big professional team sporting venues, you're going to have to probably drive about an hour. So that, if you kind of don't want to drive an hour away to go watch the Panthers or go watch the Charlotte FC soccer team or the Charlotte Hornets, then maybe you might not want to consider Hickory. If you want to be closer to sporting venues, professional sporting venues, then maybe look somewhere different, closer to the Charlotte area. But other than that, there's some places that you can go, but there's restaurants and whatnot. There's a couple bars, but nothing.
There's a lot of places to have like a good date night, but it's not like some place that, like he said, where you're just going to go from place to place and there's you're going to Uber back. It's not like a night scene type of place.
Yeah. So that besides, he just brought up a good point. Ubers and lifts are not as prevalent out here as you would think. Obviously out in Charlotte you get to see a little bit more of that. You have a lot more access to that. People that we typically see moving to Hickory are families or people retiring to get away from all of that, so they come to Hickory. If you're a young professional and you're coming out here to party, I wouldn't say Hickory's kind of a party place.
No. I had a friend of mine said one time, she said Hickory is a great place with your family to settle down and like plant roots. And she's like, but if you're here to like meet somebody, there's not as many places that you would just be out and about just to go meet or, like it's just not that town. And not that there's not plenty to do or not saying anything bad about that. But if that type of really active nightlife and that night scene is super important to you, Hickory might disappoint you. You might have to go somewhere else for that because that's not predominantly what they're known for.
Yeah, and here's a really quick small con. I know we mentioned in our Mountain View video about midget wrestling. We missed midget wrestling, but the what's the bar name?
The Silver Bullet.
They're down for reconstruction. They won't be open till.
I've never been in the Silver Bullet.
Never seen it, but we saw a sign. They are remodeling. I've never seen it, but they have a big sign.
It's called Wayneo's.
Wayneo's is under construction after 50 years.
And that's just south of. Well, it's in Hickory. But it's
Mountain View.
It's the south side of Talbot County.
That's a side note. I just want to throw in there.
There's some nightlife there, so I hear, but
I know we
have not partaken of the midget wrestling.
We talked about it in one of our other videos, so that's kind of a con. It's kind of a bummer.
Oh my gosh.
They're not there. They're closed for renovations. So
they are.
If you saw our other video,
you'll have to wait for your midget wrestling.
There you go.
But they do it there. It's like a yearly event, I think. I don't know. But anyway, that had to...
that made the con list real quick. So
the con list. So anyway, that was con number 3.
That's it.
So number 4 on pros of something that we love about Hickory and something that it's known for is the fact that Hickory is an amazing place for small business owners and entrepreneurs, and a lot of people work from home who have jobs and are employed from all across the country. Because to get back to the first point, the cost of living is really cheap. So you can make wages from somewhere up north and do very, very well and work from home because there's no shortage of high-speed internet and ways to connect. We even have optic. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to work and thrive in Hickory. And Hickory is especially favorable towards small business owners because there's a sense of life well crafted, shop small, shop local. So it is really celebrated here that rather than go on Amazon to buy such and such a product, we'll walk down the street and buy it from this person because that directly impacts her family and impacts the community. So there's a lot of, especially in downtown Hickory, you'll see that. It's a very vibrant community for entrepreneurs, small business owners, people who create and craft and reinvent. And I think it's also very noticeable in the architecture in Hickory is that you look around and you'll see what was one thing is now another because Hickory is a reinvented place. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. There's been hosiery mills and furniture mills where that was the predominant
This used to be a furniture.
Yeah, this is a furniture town.
A furniture town that that they're still there. Actually, there's some pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Old mills that are still up.
And we still have Furniture Mall. It's still people come from all over the country to buy furniture in Hickory, but things have shifted a lot, and hosiery and some of the furniture mills sat empty. And what you'll see in Hickory is this new life breathed into these old spaces that have made them relevant and amazing spaces used for offices and wedding venues. And it still kind of has that nod to that old historic charm. So I like that. I think that Hickory is known for adapting and reinventing and evolving, and I think that's really an admirable trait. So for the city to emulate that through the architecture and through business, and I think that says volumes.
Well, yeah, and if you're also moving out here, and if you're an investor, if you're looking to invest, maybe some of these like these mills, there's still some that are empty. I don't know much.
There's grants associated with investing in this stuff, and
yeah, and making that either a business space or some like rentals or whatever it is. I think anybody looking to move out of Hickory that's looking to, like I said, reinvent themselves, bring some progressive ideas of how to work, how to make things better.
Hickory welcomes it. Like they celebrate that diversity.
Because you can see coming here, there was a certain way they did things, but when you bring new ideas, new thoughts into how to implement to your business, there's a lot of things that the bigger cities have that they don't have here. So that's a great opportunity if you're looking to come out here and do whatever it is, self-employment. Obviously, in COVID, a lot of people moved out here because of I can buy a house on the lake for this amount, and now they live on the lake, and then they work from home. Or you're coming here to implement some ideas and structures, and maybe you want to come out here and put commercial buildings out here, or you want to build new construction, you want to build
apartments or something to accommodate this growth. There's tremendous investment opportunities in Hickory today.
That there is whatever that is. You may want to look at Hickory, because obviously where we're located, Hickory is on I-40, which is a main freeway to get to Greenville, Raleigh, or you want to get to
west to Asheville
to Tennessee. It's a stopping point. So if, like I said, if you're someone watching this video or looking to invest or just looking to move somewhere that there's opportunity, check out Hickory.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Because Tons of growth potential here.
I think for me moving out here, it's been a blessing. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of opportunity for what I do. In bigger markets, there's a lot more competition versus you coming in here, and all the factors that we're talking about, the pros of living here. Also, that helps and take effect into whatever that you do for work, to be creative or to, or you come out here to expand in your business. Yeah. Like you said, Hickory's a great spot.
Yeah. So definitely had to make the list of pros, and we think if you move to Hickory, you'll find the same thing.
Okay, we're going to talk about con number 4. If you're looking obviously the flip side of what we were talking about is the growth for entrepreneurs. Con number 4, in my opinion, obviously this used to be a furniture capital in the U.S. There's a lot of production on furniture, and
a lot of small business owners
small businesses, and not enough infrastructure for your more of corporate jobs out of college. If you're looking to move to Hickory and you just graduated college, there's not many jobs for you out in Hickory. Most likely, you'd probably be looking out in the Charlotte area, Greensboro, maybe even to Raleigh, because not yet is enough opportunity for college graduates to be moving out here to get a job of some sort in some respective fields.
Yeah, I mean, look at Charlotte, and it's like the banking capital, and there's a lot of young working professionals that are fresh out of college, and they have a very specific degree for a specific thing. If that's you, just make sure that you have a job lined up in Hickory, or like many, you live in Hickory and you work in Charlotte.
And you commute.
Very common.
So if you're okay with commuting, then just be aware your commute will probably be 45 minutes to an hour, depending. You might get a little traffic in the mornings there, so maybe an hour and 20 minutes, give or take. Or you might live in Mooresville or Cornelius area. Yeah. So job-wise.
Yeah, I would say that while Hickory is a great place to be a small business owner and to operate like that. So if you're somebody that is fresh out of college and you've just got your degree and you're trying to find a place for you to plug in and professionally apply what you've learned, just make sure that there's either a job already lined up in Hickory for that, or just be prepared. You may have to go a little further. If you live in Hickory, you may have to drive to Charlotte for that job that you've been training for. So
I think that would probably be like con number 4.
Con number 4. Okay, so pro number 5 on our list of things that we love about Hickory, North Carolina. In particular, I love all 4 seasons. This guy doesn't like winter so much because he got spoiled in California.
Well, you live at 75 degrees almost year round.
Oh my word.
At an average, so it's a little different.
It's different, but if you're like me and you grew up here, or gosh, if you're from up north and you're used to these bitter cold winters, this is going to be like a walk in the park for you. Because by comparison, our winters are very mild. So North Carolinians, we love our 4 seasons. We love that in spring, everything is like green and lush and beautiful.
It's really pretty.
Yes. And then in the summer, yeah, it gets hot and it gets humid. And I will say, some people don't like the humidity. Yes, we have some afternoon storms.
Yeah,
There's little things about the region that just being in the foothills, you kind of get used to that. But we have really hot summers.
Like right now.
It's a great, yeah, we're outside. It's good to be able to take a dip in the lake or the pool in the hot summers. But let me tell you, there's something really magical about North Carolina in the fall. Because, like I said, Hickory in particular is in the foothills. So we get, this beautiful leaf change that just comes down out of the mountains around October.
Right.
And we're right next to the Blue Ridge Parkway, so it's very common that everybody will make their trek up the mountains to see the Blue Ridge Parkway and watch the leaves turn. So that crisp fall air, and to me, what it heralds, that means Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming up. And we really lean into the seasons here. That's a big deal. We celebrate everything. There's a parade for everything. There's a festival for everything. So we lean into the season. So even winter here, the thing you'll love about Hickory is that we get just enough snow that life will shut down. And
that's right.
We all go buy bread and milk. We get really excited. And we think we're going to get 1 or 2 inches of snow.
Still don't know the whole purpose of that, but...
Milk sandwiches? I don't know, it's just a thing. But every time that they anticipate a little bit of snow, everybody rushes to the grocery store. They stock up on milk and they stock up on bread, and the shelves are cleared off. And everybody gets really excited, and everybody buys all the sleds because we're like, okay, we're about to get our 1 snow of the year, because we really the last few years we haven't got much snow. But if you're somebody that likes a taste of winter, perfect, because this is North Carolina. So if you live here in the foothills of Hickory, you will get a little snow and then it'll be melted 2 days later. If you live on the coast of North Carolina, you will rarely get snow. If you live west of Hickory, up towards Boone and Asheville, snow is much more common up there. So I guess because of the elevation in our state, Hickory's the sweet spot. So that's the best way I can put it. Hickory's the sweet spot because we get just a little snow, a little winter wonderland. We all get a free pass to get out of school, have our fun.
Kids love it.
Sled, have hot chocolate. And 2 days later, we're back to work and everything's normal. So I think that's the perfect amount of winter.
Yeah.
It's the perfect taste of winter.
Winter's good. I like the spring because, again, you see all these different type of plants and little flowers. These tulips start blooming, and then you have these trees that have these phases before the green comes out. They have these
little buds.
These buds that are white and pink, and then these big bulb flowers on them.
Yeah.
Then they're on there for about 2 weeks, give or take, and then they're gone, and then the leaves come out. So that's one of the coolest. My favorite to see is just all the color, the aroma of spring as well. All the flowers start blooming, and then you can smell it. The aroma's in the air. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then you go into the summer, and then it's humid, and you get little bugs here and there coming out. So, but hey, it's
North
humid,
Carolina
but
has it all.
you get to experience truly the 4 seasons, of the year here.
Yeah.
So
that's why a lot of people like to retire here, is because the seasons are diverse, but they're manageable.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like any crazy extremes. So that's one of the pros that we like about Hickory, because it's just right in that sweet spot to experience all 4 seasons fully without any of them being too harsh. So the weather, that's pro number 5.
All right, so now we're going to go into con number 5. Cinco.
We made it to the end.
We made it to the end. I'm glad that you're still here, because here we're going to go and talk about the roads. Okay, this is one of my biggest cons moving here. When I was driving around, I noticed they are on a basically grid coordinate square type
Yeah.
deal. It's like if it's like I'm back in the Marine Corps and I have to read a
First
map
Street, Second Street, Third Street,
and I got to give coordinates of where I'm
Court
at.
Place, Northwest Circle.
So you hope that your navigation system or your phone and everything is pretty
Trust your
updated.
GPS. Yeah.
Trust it, because sometimes it will take you to the wrong spot, and that would be because if it's northwest, you put southwest.
Yeah, if you get one letter off, you'll end up on the wrong side of town, because there will be a street with the same exact name, but it's northwest instead of southwest, and that will take you to a whole nother side of the railroad tracks. You follow me?
So
it's a different situation.
So that being said, it's based off the railroad track that comes
It
through
literally
town.
is.
That's what separates
North from
Hickory
south. Yeah.
and the quadrants.
Yeah.
So that was kind of annoying. It really still bugs me, because you can get lost except Mountain View if you're going to Mountain View.
Yeah, there's other areas. Mostly
they're normal.
Viewmont, Northwest Hickory, that's all these numbers.
Yeah.
Mostly that north side. South, you still have cute little street names, like normal. I guess it's normal everywhere else.
Normal everywhere else.
Yeah.
So if that will throw you off.
Yes.
The first time you get out here and you're looking around, make sure you know the different parts of town, and that's some of the videos that we've been posting to talk about the different coordinates of the area, so you kind of get familiarized with it.
Yeah.
So you can get lost really easy in just the way that the grid coordinates, and I don't know who thought it was a great idea to name them after
though,
grid squares.
it's actually very logical. It actually is. If you look at how it was planned out, it really is logical. But I'll give you a pointer, and he knows this now, but I had to explain this to him when he first got here. In Hickory, if somebody's giving you directions, they will use landmarks.
Which is annoying,
But
especially if you don't know.
Yeah, not the landmark of what it is now, the landmark of what it used to be, which doesn't help you if you just got here. And they'll say, oh, turn left at the old Kmart, or turn right where the Hickory Dickory Dock used to be, or where this or that or the other. And if you don't know what it is now, much less what it was then, that's not helpful. But Hickory is known for giving directions based off of what something used to be. I don't know why, but if you don't like the number system, ask for landmarks, but say, could you tell me what it is now? Like, is it a Bojangles now? So that's another thing too. So we like to use landmarks, but for whatever reason, we're nostalgic and we use old landmarks. So that had to make number 5. And guys, also one of the things that we had talked about when we talk about the roads, and I think this goes for every town or city that is an evolution of becoming its full potential, is that there's obviously an epicenter of growth and reinvestment and love in the community, where developers have already upfitted new spaces and put money into new ideas, and it's up and coming and growing. But right outside of that, there might be a lot of poverty or a higher crime rate. And there are areas of Hickory that haven't got that reinvestment yet, which is a double-edged sword. It means that not all of it's been renovated yet, which also means it's not all been renovated yet. So there's a ton of investment opportunity. So if you're looking for a diamond in the rough for where growth is going to be happening, there are areas right outside of downtown that could use some reinvestment and some love and some financial investment.
Some love.
Yeah, some love.
Some love.
And I feel like the return is there because the growth is just coming outward. So, complicated street names, very diverse of what property values are on one street versus another street. But on the flip side of that, silver lining, there's tremendous opportunity for investment there too. So, and if you don't know where you're at, get familiar with what things used to be, because that's how.
Talk to your neighbor.
Talk to your neighbor.
They'll tell you.
Use your GPS and just go where the British lady tells you to go on your GPS. You'll recalculate your way there. But I think Hickory's pretty well mapped out on the GPS, by the way. If you put in the right address, it'll get you there. Just get your coordinates right. So that's our con number 5.
Yep.
He says. So. All right, guys, so there you have it. Hopefully that got you acquainted with 5 pros and 5 cons of what it's like to live in Hickory, North Carolina. If you're enjoying our content, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you can be informed of new videos as we put them out. And comment below. Tell us what you love about Hickory, or tell us what you don't love about Hickory. Or if there's some content that you want us to film, we'll go out and get it. So thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.